If you are over 60, there is a good chance you are doing something today, something that feels completely harmless, that is quietly stealing your muscle, your strength, and your independence. And the frightening part is this: you will not feel it happening. There is no pain, no warning, no single moment where you notice it slipping away. Until one day you reach for something and your arm feels weaker. You stand up from a chair and it takes 2 tries. You feel a little unsteady on the stairs you used to climb without a thought. That slow, silent theft has a name. It is called sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle, and after 60 it can accelerate faster than almost anyone realizes. But here's what almost no one will tell you. Sarcopenia is not simply something that happens to you because of your age. In so many cases, it is being fed every single day by ordinary habits that seem perfectly innocent. And that means that if you can identify those habits and stop them, you can slow this process down dramatically and in many cases, begin to reverse it. So today, I am going to count down the 5 most damaging habits that quietly cause sarcopenia after 60. We are going to start at number 5 and work our way down to number 1, and I need you to stay with me all the way to the end. Because habit number 1 is the most common of them all, the one almost everyone over 60 is guilty of without ever realizing the damage it does. It is the habit that undoes all the good you are trying to do, and once you see it, you will never look at your daily routine the same way again. My name is Dr. James. For many years now, I have sat across from people over 60 who came to me feeling weaker, slower, and more fragile than they used to, convinced it was simply the price of getting older. And time and again, the real culprit was not their age at all. It was a handful of daily habits. Ordinary, well-meaning habits that quietly worked against them. And that discovery, as troubling as it sounds, is actually wonderful news, because a habit is something you can change. You cannot change your age, but you can absolutely change what you do with your days, and that is where the real power lies. So let us begin, because the sooner you spot these, the sooner you can stop them. Let us start with habit number 5. Habit number 5, sitting too long without breaking it up. Let us begin with the habit that hides in plain sight, the one that feels like rest, but behaves like poison to your muscles, sitting for long, unbroken stretches. Now, I want to be clear, there is nothing wrong with sitting. We all need to rest. The problem is not sitting itself. The problem is sitting for hours at a time without ever interrupting it, day after day after day. And I understand exactly how it happens, especially after retirement. The morning coffee turns into the morning news, which turns into a comfortable chair and a good program. And before you know it, 3 or 4 hours have passed and you have barely moved a muscle. It feels peaceful, it feels earned, but underneath that stillness, something quietly damaging is unfolding. Here is what actually happens inside your body when you sit for long, unbroken periods. Your muscles, especially the large, powerful muscles in your legs and hips, essentially go to sleep. When a muscle is not being used, when it is not bearing weight or contracting against resistance, your body receives a very clear message. This muscle is not needed right now, and your body, always efficient, always looking to conserve, begins to break that unused muscle down, right? This is not a slow process that takes years to begin. The signals that lead to muscle breakdown can start within just hours of prolonged sitting. Therefore, a person who sits for 6 or 7 unbroken hours a day is sending that breakdown message to their body over and over every single day. And it goes deeper than the muscle itself. Prolonged sitting slows your circulation, which means less blood, less oxygen, and fewer nutrients reaching those muscles that so desperately need them to stay healthy. It affects how your body handles blood sugar, and it stiffens the very joints you need to stay mobile. So the longer you sit unbroken, the harder it becomes to get up and move at all, which leads to more sitting, which leads to more muscle loss. It is a downward spiral, and it is deceptively comfortable the whole way down. But here is the wonderful news, and this is what I want you to hold on to. The fix for this is almost absurdly simple. You do not need to stop sitting. You do not need to become an athlete. You simply need to break it up. The magic is not in how much you move. It is in how often you interrupt the stillness. Research on this is remarkably encouraging. Standing up and moving for just 2 or 3 minutes every 30 to 60 minutes is enough to interrupt that muscle breakdown signal and keep your body in a far healthier state. So here is what I want you to do, starting today. Whenever you sit down to watch television, to read, or to rest, set a small timer or simply use the natural breaks in your program. Every time a commercial comes on, or every time you finish a chapter, stand up, righty? Walk to the kitchen and back, do a few gentle marches in place, stretch your arms overhead. It does not need to be strenuous. It just needs to happen. Often. I remember a gentleman I will call Harold, a retired accountant who came to me certain that something was seriously wrong with his legs. They felt heavy, weak, and unreliable, and he was frightened. But when I asked about his days, the answer was simple. Since retiring, he spent nearly 7 unbroken hours a day in the same armchair, moving only for meals. His legs were not diseased, they were simply asleep. I asked him to do one small thing. Every time a program ended, stand up and walk once around his living room before sitting again. That was the entire prescription. Within a few weeks, that heavy, unreliable feeling had faded, and he told me his legs finally felt like his own again. He had not taken a single pill. He had just stopped letting his muscles sleep the day away. That single change, breaking up your sitting, quietly tells your muscles again and again throughout the day that they are still needed, and a muscle that knows it is needed is a muscle your body will fight to keep. That is habit number 5, but breaking up your sitting will only take you so far if you are starving your muscles of the one thing they need most to rebuild, which brings us to habit number 4. Habit number 4, not eating enough protein. Here is a habit that is so common and so quietly damaging that I would guess a large number of you watching are guilty of it right now without even knowing it. Simply not eating enough protein. Protein is the raw material your body uses to build and repair muscle. Think of it this way. If your muscle is a brick wall, protein is the bricks. You can do all the exercise in the world, but if you are not giving your body the bricks, it simply cannot build or maintain the wall. And here is the cruel twist that affects everyone over 60. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at using the protein we eat. Scientists call this anabolic resistance. It means that an older body needs more protein than a younger one to achieve the very same muscle-building effect. So at the exact stage of life when we need more protein, most people are actually eating less. Why do people over 60 tend to eat less protein? The reasons are understandable, and they creep in gradually. Appetite often shrinks with age. Cooking a full meal for 1 or 2 people can feel like too much trouble. So meals become smaller and simpler, often built around easy carbohydrates like toast, crackers, cereal, or a bit of soup. Protein-rich foods like meat, fish, and eggs can feel heavier, more expensive, or harder to prepare. And sometimes dental issues or a simple loss of interest in food quietly nudge people towards softer, starchier meals. None of these reasons are foolish, but the result is the same. The body is left without the bricks it needs, and muscle quietly erodes. Let me give you a picture of what this looks like in real life. A breakfast of toast and jam, a lunch of soup and a few crackers. Perhaps a slightly more substantial dinner, but often not enough to make up for a whole day of very little protein. On paper, it looks like enough food, but in terms of the actual building blocks your muscles need, it can be dramatically short of the mark. And your body, finding itself without enough protein coming in, does something you would never want. It begins breaking down your own muscle tissue to get the protein it needs for other essential functions. In other words, when you do not eat enough protein, your body starts to eat your muscles. So what is the fix? It is more approachable than you might fear. The goal is to include a good source of protein at every meal, not just at dinner. This is important because your body can only use so much protein at once, so spreading it across the day is far more effective than trying to cram it all into one evening meal. Good sources are simple and familiar: eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, fish, chicken, beans and lentils, a handful of nuts, even a scoop of protein powder stirred into a drink if eating enough whole food feels difficult. The point is not to overhaul your entire diet overnight. The point is to gently, deliberately add protein to each meal so that every time you eat, you are handing your body the bricks it needs to protect the muscle you have. Let me tell you about a woman I will call Dorothy. She was 72, widowed, and living alone, and she came to me worried that she was just getting frail. When we talked through what she actually ate in a day, the picture was clear within minutes. Tea and toast in the morning, a small bowl of soup at lunch, a few biscuits in the afternoon, and most nights, because cooking for one felt pointless, just a bit of cereal for dinner. She was not overeating, she was not lazy, she was simply, without knowing it, eating almost no protein at all, day after day. And her body had been quietly dismantling its own muscle to cope. We changed one thing to start. An egg with her morning toast and a spoon of Greek yogurt in the afternoon instead of the biscuits. Nothing dramatic. Within 2 months, Dorothy told me she was climbing her stairs without stopping halfway to rest, something she had not done in over a year. She had not found a miracle. She had simply started giving her muscles the bricks. Start tomorrow morning. Instead of toast alone, add an egg or a bowl of Greek yogurt. That one small addition, repeated every day, sends your muscles a steady supply of what they have been quietly craving. And please, if you have kidney problems or any medical condition affecting your diet, speak with your doctor first about the right amount of protein for you. But for most people over 60, the honest truth is simple. You are probably eating less protein than your muscles need, and adding more is one of the most powerful things you can do to fight sarcopenia. That is habit number 4, but even perfect protein cannot save your muscles if you are making the mistake in habit number 3, one that quietly tells your body to let your strength fade away. Habit number 3, avoiding anything that challenges your muscles. So many people, as they move through their 60s, 70s, and beyond, begin to unconsciously protect themselves. They avoid lifting anything heavy. They ask others to carry the groceries. They take the elevator instead of the stairs, not because they cannot manage the stairs, but just to be safe. They stop doing the things that feel like effort. And on the surface, this seems wise. Why strain yourself? Why take the risk? But here's the profound problem hidden inside that caution. Muscle operates on one simple, unchangeable rule. Use it or lose it. Your muscles only maintain their strength when they are regularly asked to do something demanding. When you challenge a muscle, you create a small, healthy stress. That signals your body to keep that muscle strong and even to build it up. But when you consistently avoid all challenge, your body hears a very different message. It concludes that this strength is no longer necessary and it lets it go. Your body is not being cruel. It is being efficient. Maintaining muscle costs energy, and your body will not spend energy maintaining strength you never seem to use. This is why a person can be reasonably active, walking, gardening, doing light chores, and still lose significant muscle and strength over time. Light activity is good for your heart and your mood, but it does not challenge your muscles enough to preserve them. Walking on flat ground, tidying the house, running errands, these are all wonderful, but they ask very little of your major muscles. And so, without meaning to, a person can stay busy all day and still be quietly slipping into sarcopenia because nothing they do ever truly challenges their strength. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You are picturing a gym full of heavy weights and intimidating machines, and you are thinking, that is not for me. Please hear me clearly. That is not what I'm asking of you at all. Challenging your muscles after 60 does not mean lifting enormous weights or straining until you are in pain. It means gently and progressively asking your muscles to do a little more than they are comfortable with. And you can do this with nothing but your own body and the furniture in your home. Standing up from a chair several times in a row, slowly and with control, challenges your muscles. Rising onto your toes and back down, holding the counter for balance, challenges your muscles. Pushing against a wall like a standing push-up challenges your muscles. Carrying a slightly heavier bag of groceries on purpose, rather than avoiding it, challenges your muscles. The principle is simple. You want to find that gentle edge where your muscles have to work, and then, over time, very gradually, ask for a little more. That progression is what keeps you strong. That is the entire secret, and it costs nothing. So here is what I want you to do. Stop avoiding effort and start seeking out small, safe challenges in your everyday life. Take the stairs when it is reasonable and safe. Carry the groceries yourself when you can. Add a few slow chair stands to your morning. Every time you gently challenge a muscle, you are casting a vote for your own strength, telling your body in the clearest possible language, keep this, I still need it, Weiss. And your body, even now, will listen. That is habit number 3. But there is a habit that can quietly sabotage everything, even in people doing all of this right. And it hides in the last place most people ever think to look, which brings us to habit number 2. Habit number 2, not getting enough quality sleep. This is the habit almost no one connects to muscle loss, and yet it may be one of the most powerful of them all, not getting enough quality sleep. We tend to think of sleep as simply rest for the mind, a time to recharge our energy and clear our heads, and it is that. But sleep is also, quite literally, when your body repairs and rebuilds your muscles. Here is something crucial that most people never learn. When you exercise or challenge a muscle during the day, you are not building muscle in that moment. You are actually creating tiny, beneficial stresses in the muscle. The real building, the actual repair and growth, happens later while you sleep. Sleep is your body's construction shift. It is the window when the repair crews come out. Rebuild the muscle stronger than before and prepare you for the next day. Therefore, if your sleep is poor, that construction shift is cut short and the muscle never gets fully rebuilt. The hormones behind this tell the story clearly. During deep quality sleep, your body releases growth hormone, which is essential for repairing and building muscle tissue. Skimp on sleep and you release less of it, leaving your muscles under-repaired. At the same time, poor sleep drives up a stress hormone called cortisol. And cortisol, when it stays elevated, actively breaks muscle down. So a poor night of sleep hits you from both directions at once. It reduces the hormone that builds muscle and raises the hormone that destroys it. Night after night of this, and even someone eating enough protein and challenging their muscles can still find themselves losing ground. And here's the unfortunate reality for so many people over 60. Sleep often becomes more difficult with age. It can take longer to fall asleep. Sleep can become lighter and more easily interrupted. Many people wake several times in the night, whether from discomfort, a restless mind, or trips to the bathroom, and never reach the deep, restorative stages where all that muscle repair actually happens. So at the very stage of life when your muscles need every bit of repair they can get, sleep quality is often quietly declining, and the muscle loss accelerates in the shadows. And here is what makes this easy to miss. Most people never connect their poor sleep to their weakening body at all. They notice they are tired, of course, but they assume the fatigue and the weakness are two separate problems, when in truth, they are two branches of the same root. The nights they are not sleeping deeply are the very nights their muscles are not being rebuilt. Fix the sleep and you are quietly fixing the strength at the same time, even while you rest. So what can you do? A great deal, actually, and most of it is within your control. The foundation is what we call good sleep habits, and they genuinely work. Try to go to bed and wake up at roughly the same time every day, even on weekends, because your body thrives on rhythm. Keep your bedroom cool, dark, and quiet. Avoid caffeine in the afternoon and evening since it lingers in your system far longer than most people realize. Be cautious with alcohol before bed, because while it may help you fall asleep, it badly disrupts the deep, restorative sleep you need for muscle repair. And in the hour before bed, wind down gently. Dim the lights, set aside the bright screens, and let your body ease toward rest. Do not underestimate this. Protecting your sleep is not laziness or indulgence. It is one of the most important things you can do to protect your muscle. Every good night of sleep is a full construction shift for your body, rebuilding the strength you work to earn during the day. Give your body that time, and it will repay you in strength you can feel. That is habit number 2, and now we arrive at habit number 1, the most common and most damaging of them all. The one almost every person over 60 is guilty of. The one that quietly undoes everything else. Stay with me, because this is the one that matters most. Habit number 1. Believing it is too late to rebuild. Here it is, the most damaging habit of all. And it is not something you do with your body, it is something you believe in your mind. It is the quiet, creeping belief that you are simply too old to rebuild, that muscle loss is an inevitable part of aging, and that there is nothing you can really do about it. This single belief is the most destructive habit of them all because it stops you before you ever begin. I want to tell you why this belief is not just discouraging, but flatly, scientifically wrong. For a long time, even many doctors assumed that once you reached a certain age, building muscle was simply off the table. But research has overturned that idea completely. Studies have taken people in their 70s, their 80s, and even their 90s, people who had been frail and sedentary for years, and put them through gentle, progressive strength training. And the results were remarkable. These individuals built real, measurable muscle. They grew stronger. They walked faster, climbed stairs more easily, and in many cases, set aside canes and walkers they had come to depend on. Their bodies, even at 90, responded to the signal to grow stronger. Your muscles do not have an expiration date. They remain capable of responding, of rebuilding, and of growing stronger for your entire life. So when someone tells themselves, "It is too late for me," what actually happens? They stop trying. They stop challenging their muscles. They accept the decline as unavoidable, and in doing so, they guarantee it. The belief becomes a prophecy that fulfills itself. The muscle they were certain they could not rebuild goes unrebuilt, not because their body was incapable, but because they never gave it the chance. This is the cruelest part of habit number 1. It is the only habit on this list that does its damage by convincing you not to fight back. But the reverse is just as powerful. And this is where hope lives. The moment you truly understand that your body can still respond, everything changes. You start breaking up your sitting. You start adding protein to your meals. You start gently challenging your muscles. You start protecting your sleep. Not because you are chasing some impossible dream of being 20 again, but because you finally understand a simple, liberating truth. Your effort still matters. What you do still counts. Your body is still listening, and it will still respond. I think of a man I will call Walter whenever I hear someone say it is too late. Walter was 81 when his daughter brought him to see me. He had stopped doing almost everything. He had convinced himself, completely, that at his age, his body was finished, and that trying was pointless and maybe even dangerous. He would sit for most of the day because in his mind, that was simply what an 81-year-old was supposed to do. I did not argue with him. I just asked him to try one thing: to stand up from his chair slowly 5 times each morning, holding the counter if he needed to. That was all. He thought it was almost silly, but he did it, and because it was so small, he kept doing it. A few weeks later, he added a few more. Then a short walk to the mailbox. Then back again. 6 months on, Walter was not the man his daughter had brought in. He was gardening again. He was steadier, stronger, and in his words, he had stopped feeling like he was just waiting around. Nothing about his body had made it too late. Only his belief had, and the moment that belief cracked, everything changed. I have seen this transformation with my own eyes more times than I can count. Someone arrives convinced their strongest days are far behind them, resigned to slowly fading. And then, with a few small, consistent changes, and above all, a change in what they believe is possible, they begin to come back to life. They stand taller. They move more freely. They rediscover a confidence they thought was gone for good. And so often, the thing that started it all was not a pill or a procedure. It was simply letting go of the belief that it was too late. So if you take only one thing from this entire video, let it be this: it is not too late. Not at 60, not at 70, not at 80, not at 90. Your muscles are waiting, right now, for you to give them a reason to grow stronger. And the moment you decide to give them that reason, the fight against sarcopenia turns in your favor, bringing it all together. Let us bring all 5 of these together because they are not separate problems. They are threads of the same story, and they work best when you address them as one. Habit number 5 was sitting too long without breaking it up. And the fix was simply to stand and move for a few minutes every half hour or so, interrupting that muscle breakdown signal throughout your day. Habit number 4 was not eating enough protein. And the fix was to add a good source of protein to every meal, giving your muscles the building blocks they need to repair and grow. Habit number 3 was avoiding anything that challenges your muscles. And the fix was to gently, progressively seek out small, safe challenges in your daily life, reminding your body that your strength is still needed. Habit number 2 was not getting enough quality sleep. And the fix was to protect your sleep with steady routines and a restful environment, so your body has the time it needs to rebuild the muscle you worked for. And habit number 1, the most important of all, was believing it is too late. And the fix was understanding deep in your bones that your body can still rebuild at any age and that your effort genuinely matters. Notice how these reinforce one another. Breaking up your sitting and challenging your muscles gives your body the signal to build. Eating enough protein gives it the materials. Quality sleep gives it the time to do the work. And the belief that it is possible is what keeps you doing all of it day after day until the results become undeniable. You do not have to do all 5 perfectly, and you certainly do not have to do them all at once. In fact, please do not try to change everything overnight. Pick one. Choose the habit that spoke to you most strongly today and start there this week. Perhaps it is adding an egg to your breakfast. Perhaps it is standing up during every commercial break. Perhaps it is simply deciding, for the first time in a long time, to believe that your strength can come back. Master that one change, let it become natural, and then add the next. That is how real, lasting transformation happens. Not in a dramatic burst, but in small, steady, deliberate choices, repeated until they become who you are. Before I let you go, let me say this plainly, because I want you to carry it with you. Sarcopenia is not simply your fate. It is not a door that closes on a certain birthday. It is, in so many cases, the sum of daily habits, and habits can be changed. The strength you are afraid of losing is not gone. Much of it is simply waiting, quietly, for you to send the right signals. And now you know exactly what those signals are. So, here's what I would love from you. In the comments below, tell me your age. And tell me honestly, which of these 5 habits hit closest to home for you? Was it the sitting, the protein, the sleep, or was it that quiet belief that it might be too late? I read every comment, and your answers genuinely shape the videos I make for this community. If this helped you today, tap the like button so it can reach another person who needs to hear it. And subscribe to stay strong, steady, and independent with me for many years to come. And do not go far, because in my next video, I am going to show you the simple daily routine that puts all 5 of these fixes into practice. In just a few minutes a day, without any equipment at all, it may be the most valuable few minutes you spend on yourself. Take a slow breath, relax your shoulders, and remember, it is never, ever too late to become stronger than you were yesterday. I will see you in the next one.